We are live. Okay, cool. All right, so today we are gonna go over how to spot a fake knife, okay? I've had a lot of requests to do this. I'm gonna teach you guys real quick, down and dirty, how not to make that bad purchase and why, because these knives are really expensive. Some of these knives have gotten like crazy pricing. So you have GEC knives that are going up upwards of $400 to $500 a piece. And what people are doing is they're forging the paperwork and they're forging the tang stamps, all right? And for the most part, a lot of these fakes can be spotted by individuals that collect knives. Like if you handle a lot of the knives. So the best advice I can do, that I can say, is go to knife shows, touch the knives, feel them, look at them, and that's going to be your best education. I learned more by going to the 20 knife shows I went to than reading books, okay? But the books do serve a big purpose, and that's what we're gonna go over really quick. I don't wanna bore you guys to death, but it's actually kind of interesting because there's something in the beginning of all these books that nobody reads. And that is what's gonna save you a ton of money. So like, why do they make these books? Why do they make a book about knife, tang stamps, and it's, well, when you get a knife, you're going to investigate this knife. You're going to ask yourself, is this a real, for instance, Schrade knife? All right. Or is this, Camillus knife? So now if it was a case, it would most likely be more valuable. So there are people that maybe would, rub this down and stamp it with a case tang stamp, which happens an awful lot, all right? I'm gonna show you, I've got some pictures, all right, of a knife that's been forged. I don't have any forged knives. I've been very lucky. I do my research, and right from the beginning, I got these two books, okay? These two books will really save you a lot. And this is your Goins Encyclopedia for cutlery markings, all right? And this is gonna show you a picture of your tang stamp and how that tang stamp possibly changed throughout the years, whether it will say something like Hibbard and Spencer, New York, or whatever, or case with 3 dots, 4 dots, and it will show you an image of what the tang stamp should look like. See, those are little tang stamps. So you can actually look really closely at all the intricate, how it's intricate. Like here, I'll show you a K-bar. I wish I had a better example, actually. K-bar's pretty good. Look at K-bar. Every tang stamp says K-bar. They're just different every year. Okay, guys, look at that. All right, so that kind of gives you an idea. Where am I at? Oh, over here, sorry. So that's all the K-bar stamps. So that would kind of get you, thrown off. You'd be like, oh no, what, mine looks different. Well, if you look really closely, you can look at maybe like Case has, maybe they do their S's like a lightning bolt, or maybe they do their S's like a nice smooth S. All right, so that's very important. Your tang stamping is the most important. But what's in front of this book that nobody ever reads? Excuse me, I got gum in my mouth. Why am I? So it has the foreword, and he goes over, some basic stuff. And then it goes straight into the tang stamps. But on the first page, it says, some inventions and discoveries. Some inventions and discoveries. And this is in the groins. And other than that, it just goes straight into the research alphabetical order of tang stamps. But this guy thought this was important enough to put in the book. It's only 1.5 pages long, and it goes over all the different inventions. So a good one that you all would be familiar with is how about the Case Sunfish? Remember the Sunfish, the really big, beautiful knives, that they used as rope knives? All right. So it actually tells you the Sunfish was manufactured in the 1900s by Case Brothers. That's when it was invented. Shell knives were invented in 1936, Germany. It's really neat. The automatic knife was manufactured in 1896. Now the automatic knife's pretty cool. I've got a new addition to my collection. Oh yeah. This is a Buck 110 automatic. I highly recommend that you guys go out and get one of these. Made in USA, an incredible knife. Just a beauty. I am not selling these. These are, I'm getting a few of these. There's another automatic. This is a Benchmade 2550. This is my last knife I carried. Which one do I like better? Boy, I'm gonna go with the Buck for sure. The Buck was a gift from my best friend, and boy, what a present that was. Incredible, blows me away. I'm gonna be doing a really detailed video on that Buck knife. I think it's one of them. This is gonna be a legendary knife. I think everybody should go out and get one, at least throw it in a box. It's gonna triple in value. It's a really good display piece, and it's absolutely gorgeous. S30V, G10. Locks out just like the normal Buck. So you got a real good locking mechanism that's time proven. Just a beauty. Oh man, it feels so good. There's not very many knives that feel this good. All right, so this is a really good, don't want to bore you. All right, get this book and the inventions. Why does that help you? Well, when you're looking at, let's say, Boy Scout knives, and you see a Boy Scout knife that has a bottle opener or a can opener that looks a little bit different, or maybe the can opener has can opener written on it and it kind of angles over. Same thing. You can date a knife by what type of implements it has. And it kind of gets tricky. That is a really good way to pinpoint how old a knife is. So, do you sell just rare stuff, or do you sell newer basic entry level knives? I have some basic entry level knives. I have everything that you guys could possibly really desire at this moment. When it comes to, I've got a few tacticals that I'm willing to let go, but the best thing to do is tell me what your price range is. Email me, it's right below the video here. Tell me what your price range is and what you're looking for. You're typically gonna save about 20% with me, so that's an awful lot of money. So, and you know you're getting a good product. And I also, free returns if you're not happy with the knife. I've never had a return. So, hey, I got birds. Here they're fighting. What are they doing? That's that cat bird. So, all right, so the next book we're going to look at is Levin's Guide to Knives and Their Values. This is the second edition. Why the second edition? It's cheap. You can get the second edition right now on Amazon for about $40. When you go to the fourth edition and other editions, really the same book, okay? The fourth edition has some little extra prices, and it's not really, I use this one. It's the second edition. I have the fourth edition, which is a collector's edition. I have the second edition that we are going to look at really quickly right now. And on the page 25, it goes straight into historical fakes. Knife collecting has been around for a long time. I have seen medieval inventories that list in detail the family's precious knives. Some had jeweled inlays and engraved hilts. Others had been presented by or to monarchs, ambassadors, distinguished clergymen. Some were wedding knives that were commemorated important material alliances. Even then, there were famous knife makers, and even then, there were fakes. So, I mean, knives have been gifts throughout time. There's always been fakes. Knives have represented family names, groups of people. So yes, the recent knives that are getting faked now are GEC, Great Eastern Cutlery. All right, and that's because those knives are getting pretty pricey. My advice to you, the fakes that I have seen, the tang stamps are pretty obvious that they're not GEC. Okay, it literally looks like a Chinese very clean stamping. And the one that I saw, anyone would know it's not a GEC, but someone bought it. So they bid it up to like 300 and someone got it. And it's just a regular knife that's probably worth about maybe 50 bucks. If that, it's Chinese or something. Who knows what it is? We don't even know. So it's really important that you buy from someone like, I could recommend two people that come to mind, but myself, I have a few GEC knives that are going to be going up for sale. And if you want a pristine, perfect piece with all the documentation, a video on here that most likely shows me purchasing it, that's probably, I'm the one that you probably want to contact. Right now I have 6 that are really, 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 really special. So if you are a GEC collector and you're looking for that showpiece, the holy grail piece, you need to contact me. I have these pieces right now. I have pieces that have huge stories behind them, one of ones, and they're incredible. So yeah, that's for people that are, once you get pretty high in the knife collecting, that's what they want. Entry-level knife, if you give me 50 bucks, I can get you going with a really nice collection. Some of these knives are not very expensive. I could give you a really good example of some knives that are entry-level that are not very expensive. When you look at something like this, though, this is a pretty collectible knife. And you got this incredible locking Marlin spike. It's just awesome. Look at this thing, and it locks in place. You release the lock by pushing it like that. See? And then it comes over. Listen to this. Listen to this. Boy. And then it also has a nice rope knife here. Real nice blade. But see, stuff like this, that's pretty collectible. But some things kind of slip through the cracks and people are like, whoa, how is that so cheap? Here's a nice one. This is a German electrician knife, Tree brand. A knife like this, I think, is in like the $40 range, if not cheaper. Absolutely beautiful knife. This knife is manufactured just as well as any of these knives, any Schrade, any $100 knife. But you're not going to pay that much because a lot of these were manufactured. So if you go on eBay, they're not very much money. But this one's absolutely pristine condition. So if you're looking for an electrician's knife, you can get an entry-level knife that's unused, about 40 years old, has all the nice etching on it. And this locks in place. This is an electrician's knife. See how it locks in place? It's got a little lock, so you can use it as a screwdriver or wire stripper without ruining your blade, which has a half stop. Yeah, because this knife is made to use. Got a little place for that too. Oh, no weak cards. You have ended up buying a leave our chat with this tire kicking crap. Thanks to the chat. Last warning, quit being an a-hole. What are you doing? You're the one that needs to cool it. Okay, well, anyway, it looks like you guys have a lot of chat going on. Okay, now let's go on. I'll show you some pictures. Let's get a little crazy. But yeah, you guys got to get along. I don't know. I'm interested in case specifically Peanuts and Stockman's. I've always wanted to try a GEC. GEC, when it comes to fit and finish, is at another level. And that's why when they were selling for $65, which was case pricing at the time, everybody went out and bought them. And now they're worth about $120, $130, $200, $300, $400. I just sold 3 GEC knives. The first one for $500, the next one for $375, the next one for $4, the other one for $525. So you're looking at almost half $1,000, $500 for one of those older GEC knives that I'm selling. Got some pictures for you. All right, so you are interested in Stockman's. I know that spike is cool. I mean, you can even use it for self-defense. I mean, look at this sucker. That's a marlin spike, so it's used to get the knots out of the larger ropes for us sailors. So I was a sailor for 20 years. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Like so. Yeah, try to keep it clean because I think it can hurt my channel. So please keep it clean, guys. You know, knives are nothing to really argue about. People, you know, the gun community, they argue a lot. Like if I was talking about guns, I'd say clip or magazine or something. And then someone would be like, what do you mean? Like a clip or a magazine? And usually the people that correct folks, and I haven't read what anybody said, but when it comes to the gun community, usually the folks that are correcting folks don't even have guns. You know, because I mean, for us guys that actually shoot, we could really give a rat's ass. You know, I was in the military for 20 years, and you know, nomenclature is important, you know, but when I'm talking with you all or hanging out, drinking a few beers, I could really care less. I mean, I got nothing to prove. You know, some people use their verbalness or the way they say things to make them sound, you know, like they know everything. Well, you know, I've done it. I'm just showing you what I got, you know. And the guns were the same way. And that's why I stopped making gun videos, is because, well, YouTube just killed my channel for no reason. But it's just like everybody wanted to argue constantly. And Gerber videos. My Gerber video was the worst, man. I did a Gerber video and the knife broke during the video. And everybody wants to say that I'm an idiot or I broke it or something. Dude, this is a survival knife that broke. I mean, give me a break. And everybody wants to say that I did something wrong to it. And then I did Rough Rider videos and broke those knives. And then they're like, oh, you were too rough on them, because I guess some people collect Rough Rider knives, and sorry to hurt your feelings. But, you know, people want to defend their purchase. I understand that. You know, I totally understand that. All right, cool. All right, so check this out. I love knives too. All right. All right, so we have 3 pictures here. The first picture I'm going to show you is a Cutmaster. Okay, that is your original Cutmaster. I got this off of AAPK. Okay. Now, a Cutmaster is not known to be very valuable. This knife right here is probably worth in the range of 20 bucks, if that. But if you can turn into something like that, now you're talking about something that's worth $275, $300. And then if you can turn into something like this, now it's worth about $300. So that's, and I highlighted in pink all the issues with this knife that don't add up with your original case. So, and we're talking things that are so different that you can barely tell, like the way they manufactured the knife down to in the tang region, or the shape of the secondary blades. So so the best thing, your best defense is being familiar with your knives. And if something don't look right, investigate it. You'll know. Go to a few shows, handle a few knives, and you'll know. I can pick up, I know what a Schrade blade looks like. I know its shape. Almost every Schrade has a shape like that. Almost every Western has a shape like that. And where's my case? I need a case. Well, I'll tell you this one. And every buck has a shape like that. See how sexy that is? Whether it's useful or not, I don't know. But when you have a sexy blade angle like that, you're going to be a legendary blade like Buck. Another company that has a legendary blade, who do you think? Case. Case Trappers. That master blade on the Case Trapper, one of the most attractive blades. Useful or not, probably too pointy, all right? But people loved it. Oh, Bucks are incredible. Did you see the way that This is a gift from my buddy. Just absolutely beautiful. All right, so the two books that I recommend that you look at. When it comes to fakes, I'm telling you, you just have to make sure that you are familiar with knives, and if it doesn't look right, and you can always get on a site like AAPK, all right, allaboutpocketknives.com, all right? So you go there, they have a whole counterfeit section. You can post a picture of the eBay listing, all right? And people like myself, people that know a hell of a lot more than me, are going to take a look at that, or people that actually collect that specific year that you're looking at. Some people collect only fishing knives. I've only had 20 fishing knives in my entire collection of various brands. You have people that have only fishing knives, 200, 300, 400 of them. So you put that on AAPK, you can actually research brand specific, and they have forums for each type of knife. So you can go to brand specific 1970 Schrades or GEC, or you can go to the general department. I just love the website, AAPK, A, P as in Paul, K as in Knight Rider, you know? I'd love an Auto 110, wouldn't you? I was sitting there, I actually went to my buddy's house for a barbecue, and he was like, yeah, you got to do a video on this. And I'm like, yeah, I will, dude. He's like, oh, let me get the box for you. I got the box and all that. And he's like, you know what? Why don't you just keep it? I was like, you got to be kidding me. So, I mean, that's why he's my best friend. It's not because he gives me stuff, but because he's just an awesome dude. Just awesome. My best friend's also a contractor. Very stand-up dude. I mean, it's very rare where you can get people to work on your house that are like this dude. I mean, it's just, yeah, very rare indeed. I have two bucks, a 110 and a 310. I prefer their blade steel. The 110s are tanks, but they are heavy like a tank too. But I like the lightweight and pocket friendliness of Peanuts and medium Stockmans. I agree. All right. My favorite knife to carry, I don't think I have it here. My goodness. My favorite knife to carry is actually it's a Schrade imported German, just handy knife. It's got like it looks like one of the Swiss Army knives, but it was actually imported by Schrade, a USA company, made by Germany. Their heat treat's amazing. And they use the really thin, hard, heat-treated material, so it's just, they don't make knives like this anymore. I actually have two of those for sale. Again, contact me. They're not very much. I think they're like 15 bucks. Great little knife. I can't open. I just got too much going on here. What if I got another one here? I might have a few here. But I hope these pictures kind of helped. What this should help you is they can make a knife that looks like that. Look like a newer case knife if you want. Right? So they're turning cut masters into case knives. So it's very hard to tell, guys. It's just real hard, and you'll know, like, you've been to shows before. I mean, if I saw that knife, I'd be like, whoa, that's pretty, I've never seen that before. What is that? And I'd start looking into it, and I'd be like, they didn't make anything like this. And matter of fact, that master blade sure don't look right. That master blade doesn't look like a case master blade, you know? And you get to know these kind of things with your experience in knives. And in the meantime, you have the community of AAPK that's more than happy to help people, man. I'm telling you. My 110 is on my belt now, and I'm always, it is a tank. I keep lighter knives in my pocket. Agree, when I lived out in the country, I lived out in Virginia. I had my own shooting range and all that awesome stuff. I did the country thing for about 8 years. Had my own well, you know. And what I found is I did like to carry a larger knife on my side. Fixed blade usually, you know. When it came to the buck knives, boy, they're so nice and beautiful. I mean, this thing is just, It's a tank. This sucker's a tank. I mean, listen to the difference. This is a Benchmade. I mean, just beautiful. You see that, man, the way they're just totally different. Just, man, it's just it is a tank though. It feels a little bit lighter than the original 110. It looks like they're not using brass. Brass is heavy, period. The internals look beautiful. They just did a great job. The locking mechanism is the exact same thing. It looks like they just have like a spring in there somehow and a little release. And what I like is you unlock it just like you do the normal buck. So it's not like you can press this. I keep wanting to do that though because that's how my Benchmade is. So. Okay. So I live in town, so my 119 isn't that practical. Yeah, sometimes they're just not practical. I will actually, here's a few knives that I like to carry. These are actually some of my pocket knives that I carry on a daily basis that I enjoy. And usually they're generally knives that they wouldn't sell for a lot. I'm really not in the mood to carry something that's worth $400. I'm just not. This Moki is a company in Japan that makes these. I know. And so Moki is a Japanese company. Well, Kershaw probably at one time was impressed with Moki's fit and finish, which Moki knives typically sell for about $140, $200. And Kershaw had Moki make a line of knives for them. Kershaw was known to seek out Japanese companies to produce knives for them. And look at this, beautiful knife, gorgeous smooth wood, absolutely perfect blade. So pretty. Now they cheapened it up a little bit by putting some cost saving measures in there. Wood being one of them. Moki knives are typically made with like stag or something like that. I have one down there. I'm actually going to do a comparison video between this and that knife. But you can get these on eBay for like 30 bucks, 25 bucks. It is a gorgeous knife. It's beautiful. And if you want to write this down, it is your Kershaw 4150. Kershaw 4150. Highly recommend it. It's just beautiful. Kershaw Wild Turkey 4150. And it is a beautiful, it's so smooth. You unlock it right here. And everything's all polished on this thing. And it would fit in your pocket. Just a beautiful knife. I don't like selling this because it's worth so much more than 30 bucks. I don't want to sell it. It's just, I'm going to use those knives. Electrician knives like that, these are a really good thing to carry also because these are not very expensive. And they're built to the $100 level. These are $100 knives in feeling because that's what I like. I don't like a cheap knife. I'm not going to carry a cheap knife, but I'm not going to carry a knife that's going to decrease $200 in value the first time I use it. Okay? Makes sense. Right. I just traded a Benchmade 942, good knife, for a 1980s case peanut. Good with wood scales, a case trapper in red, and a buck 110 with finger grooves. Obviously that guy wanted a tactical knife. Really bad. Awesome, good deal, man. Awesome, yeah, that's a good one. Buck 110 with finger grooves. Now, was that done at the factory, or was that done afterwards, or was that done during? Is that a lunchbox knife? If that's a lunchbox knife, you're looking at a knife that's worth between $400 to $500. So you wanna be careful with that. Or is it something that maybe was done in someone's garage? So you want to look at that. Regardless, the ones in the garage, they're all popular. People buy them. It doesn't matter. So many people modify them that there's a market for it. So, people still modify buck knives today. Put different scales on them and they pull great price to a knife like the electrician knives, but it's appreciated. So many buck 110s were made, but they pull good prices because you get so much for your money. I mean, give me a knife. Big, yeah. Here, you know. My favorite knife is a Shat and Morgan swing. Did you buy that from me? Red. I had one. I had a Shat and Morgan red, beautiful red bone. And boy, when you would open that up, it was just so smooth and slick. Now, if you want to step up your game, go to a 1970s swing guard. The fit and finish on the 1970s swing guard is going to be a lot better. Uh, so just look at that, and that way you'll have two in your collection. That way you can compare the two. It's kind of neat. Both are great knives. I've had both. The Shat and Morgan was a little bit smoother in operation, and my Shat and Morgan had a really nice, like, coffin shield on it, which I really liked. So it looks factory. What is a lunchbox version? How to identify that? A lunchbox version, you got to realize that a lot of people have worked at buck knives, okay? And they know that their knives are valuable. Some got stolen, some extra parts got manufactured and turned into um, knives that have multiple blades. I've had a buck, what is the model just below 110? It's got the, anyway, I've had one with a buck 110 blade and it all in one. That was a one-of-a-kind knife, had two locking mechanisms. It was sandwiched together by someone on their lunch break. There you go. A lot of these things can be found I found most of mine in pawn shops, and they just don't know any better. You can identify them by doing a lot of research, and buck collectors, buck forums, and also AAPK has a little bit of buck knowledge out there. But you really need to really pay attention to what you got there. Yeah. Um, Boy, if I knew his name, send me a picture of it if you could. Email it to me, and I'll email it to my buddy, and it might be something special. Just both sides so I can see the tank stamp. And I want to see those finger grooves. So yeah, that kind of stuff gets really special real quick, and it can be, you don't even know what you have. And most pawn shops don't know what they have. They think they know. Yep. They'll have that one case knife with that price tag of like $150, $200 on it. And you're like, that case isn't worth anything. Just because it's a case doesn't mean it's worth something. So you guys really need to do research. And once you read through these books and get familiar with that, go to a few knife shows, sit down and talk with someone like myself, watch my videos, get on AAPK and talk on the general forums. Something like that is going to increase your knowledge. And then you're going to get to the point where you can walk into a pawn shop, see a case display with $400 or $500 of knives, your heart beating. Maybe you got a bead of sweat coming down your forehead because you see 4 or 5 knives in there that you have done research and you know for sure are worth $500 to $600 a piece. How do you get those knives out of that case without him understanding what you're doing? Because if they do, they stop selling. And really, you just wanted 4 or 5 of those knives because they stop selling sometimes because they're not dumb. All right, and they're very shrewd people, so you got to separate them from their product. They're very confident in that, and you have to take advantage of that confidence and use that to your benefit. Maybe compliment them on that because they're very. It's not lying to somebody. They did very good at pricing that knife right there, and I'll let them know it's a really good price that you put on that. You must know your knives. Yeah, and you get what you need and increase your collection. And again, these 2 books that I'm telling you are what helped me do that. And then also being addicted to eBay and staying on eBay endless hours at one point in my life. Right now I'm doing that with Bitcoin, and I'm doing that with cryptocurrency. So in a year, I'll probably have a crypto. This is another knife that I don't want do not want to sell. This is a keen cutter, and it's actually one that has no tang stamp. It's a Barlow. These were manufactured in about the 80s, 90s. Really nice knife, really well manufactured. And this particular knife, again, you'd probably try to sell it for $20. It's a $50 knife. It's not a knife that needs to be sold right now. So I enjoy that. I like the metal knives from the past, these little metal knives. I enjoy carrying these little things. Why? Okay, well, it's an old knife. It's beautifully constructed. Doesn't take up very much space in my pocket because I live in California, guys, and it's just hard to carry something in shorts. And you got one side. I'm having trouble here. I have one side that has this incredible nail file poker machined awesome thing. They don't even have stuff like this anymore. And then they have the grooves right there, so you can stick your nail in there and just go back and forth. First time I used that, I was like, get out of here, this thing's awesome. You don't slide off of it, right? So that's one side, very thick metal, even though it's a thin, right? Check out this master blade that's hiding in this little thing. So you got like almost a full-size blade, and then you have a little pin blade that's inside this. This particular knife actually came in a leather sleeve, and I have another one of these that's in mint condition. So you got a lot of knives that aren't worth very much. They're just a lot of fun to carry, and for me, have a lot of use. I'm not in the mood to sell them. So. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, we had a lot of chat there, guys. Look at you. Another one, if you guys, okay, something non-traditional, you want something more tactical. This is a clean tool and knife company. You can get these on the internet. This is a 44001. I modified this a little bit, but this is made by an electric company, and these lock out. They're really thin, and you can pick these suckers up for about $25 on eBay also. This is another knife that I'm just not going to sell because they're just so useful. Just a beautiful knife. I mean, I don't even know what country, where they made it. It looks like it's made in Japan. I believe it is. Let me see. Yep, made in Japan. See, as you collect knives, this is the kind of knowledge. Just by handling something, I'm like, I bet you this is made in Japan, because I never really pay attention to that. Yeah, Japan. So these are the things that as you handle knives, you'll just pick up, guys. I mean, now you know how to find a fake knife. You watch, you'll see something and you'll see it, and you'll come back to my video and you'll be like, yeah. Even if you already knew how to do that, maybe I gave you just that little bit of tidbit of information that maybe right now you're looking in your knife books and you're looking in those first couple pages. Because if I'm going to write a book, I'm going to put something pretty darn important in there. But so many people skip that. I don't know why. That's usually the most important part. So, all right, I'm going to on my house. I've been doing a lot of housework. Take you guys off. I always take you guys out for a walk. Just a beautiful day. This is my my office. So I got my office here, and this is where the magic happens again. I always like to show you guys the magic. It's Lon Humphrey's knives up there. Those Lon Humphrey's JS knives. And this is where I do a lot of my work. Yeah, reading blueprints and buying stuff. So, house is getting, every time I show you guys this, the house gets a little bit more done. Here's the back side. And yeah, it's beautiful. There's my dog. So yeah, just an absolutely beautiful day. I have to paint a front door today. Or figure out how to get a dishwasher in that's not fitting underneath the counter. So there's always a problem I got to work on. When you build a house, there's just a lot of stuff to do. So, all right, hasta vista. Thanks for hanging out, and see you guys later. Share this, and if you have any questions, send me a picture, send me an email, and I can tell you how much a knife is worth. I can help you guys. All right, take care.